Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. I am the Soul Leader. Welcome, welcome. So, I had to make this video because I was having a talk with God, and He told me I had to put this one out. Um, so this video is really based on the boss mentality that the world imposes on everybody. And there's nothing wrong with being a boss, because even in my mind, I believe that I am a boss based off of the things that I want to do in my own life and how I see myself. But let me be specific by what I'm talking about. So, really quick, before I even get deep into it, let me tell you, I told God I was going to speak on this, but I was kind of nervous to put this out, right? Because I was like, Lord, how am I gonna execute that in the way that you telling me to execute that? So He was like, do you need another scripture for help? Do you need more help? Just say so. So I was like, yeah, I need one more scripture to get me, going for this message. And so it's so funny, right? Because the scripture, the part of the Bible that I was in, I think I was still in Ecclesiastes. And He told me to go to Joshua 1:9, right? Mind you, I'm thinking have been off a little bit lately, so um, it was so funny that I had my bookmark in Ecclesiastes. Forgive me, I had my bookmark in Ecclesiastes, and I just happened to just grab one page and flip it. Not like one page, but you know how if you grab a page and you just flip it, period, and it was a chunk of pages, and I just flipped it, and it was at the beginning of Joshua. All I had to do was turn one page, and I was right where I was supposed to be, right? So I started laughing. I was like, God, you so funny. You so funny. Um, because He told me to read Joshua 1:9, which focuses on confidence. And that's what I needed to execute this. So I'm putting it out there like, don't play with God. Like, y'all, please don't play with God. Because if you spend time getting to know God for yourself, He has a sense of humor. So it was funny to me, and I had to share that to you. Um, but I have that confidence now because that's where all my confidence come from. It comes from God anyway. So I'm gonna read everything that I wrote down because I tend to go off topic, but I also want to keep you engaged. So the world has this mentality, this boss mentality, right? And there is nothing wrong with being a boss. You should aspire to be the head of any company that you're trying to create or whatever you're creating, and but not everybody is worthy of being the boss. That's the thing. That's why sometimes, like if you on social media or even here on YouTube, I see so many people every day talk about I'm a boss, boss this, boss that. I see those who really deserve to have that title, and I see those who shouldn't even say that. Because to be the boss, it comes with great responsibility. Um, and I'm in a season of learning some things about leadership and skill, and having great leadership skills. In my own personal life, I've always exuded these things, but having the confidence to lead in certain areas that I didn't ask to, but I'm required to. Like, for instance, have you ever been in class and like those classes where as though you have to partner up with other people sometimes, like say language arts? And one thing I hated about kind of ending up being the leader in the group, or the person that got to present the presentation, was more so because it was times of not having confidence that I could do it, even though I know that I can do it. But you have other people around you who are talented too. So sometimes you can get a little discouraged because you'll see how gifted they are. But let's get back on topic. So not every person is willing to pay the cost to be the boss, right? People want the title because of the power that comes with titles. Now, not every person is a good leader or have leader qualities. You know, when people call themselves a boss, it gives them a sense of power or a sense of belief of that they're more powerful than they actually are. Or to me, a boss usually is a person that doesn't follow the norm. They may be the person that call the shots, and yes, they can run things, but a boss creates a company. Now, when I use this word create, I'm talking about they build the foundation. They start from the ground up. They usually focus. You know, they don't always have a team. They usually start with one person, right? Think about all these big companies like I don't want to name. I'm not going to name nobody. But think about all these big companies you ever heard of or know of, right? How did they actually grow? What did it start from? It started from them planting a seed, right? And if the boss does not treat his or her employees correctly, its business can take a loss or not excel at all. And let me keep reading because I'm gonna get a little more detail. So think of God, who's the one and true boss. God leads us. We are his employees. God lead and we follow. God is an example of a true leader. He put in his work when he said, let there be life. God put in his work when he specially crafted and made us. God began a great work and he will not cease until it is complete. Think about all those big bosses who have Fortune 500 companies and stuff. You know, they didn't stop until their work was complete. But what else does these people do that God does too? They keep going. They recruit more people. They create more opportunities. You know, you don't just stop once you get to that goal. You keep going with your goals. You add more and it will keep changing because of the seasons that you may be in your life. So, you cannot be a boss until you complete the work you've begun. Being a boss is more than calling a shot. A boss loves and has compassion. A boss is passionate. A boss understand. A boss trusts. And a God. I'm tongue tied. Let me read it again. A boss loves, has compassion, is passionate, understands, trusts, and guides, teaches, etc. Right? That's what a true boss do. A boss builds on a firm foundation, and that's getting to what I was trying to get to. That foundation that boss builds on comes from having discipline, self-discipline. And God gives us a spirit of discipline. So this is the season I'm in. That's why I'm making this video right now, because even though I was getting that word for myself, I realized that it'd be helpful to somebody else. Because I have been sitting, not doing nothing. I do have a actual job in reality. You know, I have to provide for my family. And once, I don't know why I just feel like something right there, but the sound in my house changed. I don't see it, but I can feel. But anyway, let me get back to my point. Where was I? A boss builds on a firm foundation. So when a boss builds on that foundation, you know, think about the foundation that you create with God. Like what we're doing right now. We're trying to build a firm foundation with God. And I know that I can't do anything in my life without God. I wouldn't have been able to even get this far. You know, at first I was thinking I had to post a video every day, or I had to do this and that to get followers and all of that. And when I realized, like, hold up, I'm doing the wrong thing, because this is not about getting followers and subscribers. This is about, if this channel is for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. The whole point is to get people to invite Christ into their life and walk with God on every part of their journey, and not push God out. Stop thinking that you can live without God. Like, you can't. Yes, people create businesses and stuff, but it's a blessing when it grows. It's a blessing when you're able to feed your family and feed many other families. Don't ever think that God is not in everything. You could not even breathe air if it wasn't for God. So a boss carefully crafts their masterpiece. They didn't end up with a 500 foot. I can't even get it out. But you know what I'm saying. They don't just end up with these things. And then think about the people who actually do make God their foundation. God should always be at the center of everything in your life, whether it's your relationship with people, romantically, whether it's work, whether it's anything you're creating, whether it's, if you're not doing anything in life except just existing and being a blessing to others. Still, make sure you have that relationship with Christ. You know, because those who live without Christ are perishing. They're going crazy. It's like so much chaos in this world, and I feel so blessed have to be in this season, to actually be able to really sit back and think about things and see things for what it really are. Now, let's get back on topic. A boss doesn't stop once the company is built. That gets back into the other points that I was making. A boss creates more opportunities, open more position, more doors, grow in his or her company. You have to pay the cost to be the boss. Jesus has already done that. Jesus is an example of paying the cost to be the boss. So this channel cannot be complete without God. God's hands is on this channel because I cannot do it without him. He who led me to create a channel for healing using my voice. You know, there was a time in my life when I started to notice that people always be like, oh, you should be a motivational speaker, you know, or people will always express to me how I may have helped them in some way without me even knowing. And little did these people know that I was in seasons in my life where I didn't have nobody to motivate me, but I always had the gift to motivate others. But now what I'm doing for others, I'm also using for myself. I'm motivating myself as well. So let me get into the scriptures. So I'm going to read some scripture to you. This is, let me see which ones. Isaiah 27, 1 through 13. And Proverbs 11, 3. So before I get into Isaiah 13, I'm going to read Proverbs 11, 3 because I wrote that one down. Honest, and it's about honesty. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Where's the other Bible verse? Let me go to Ecclesiastes as well. Let me find it. Give me a second. I don't know why I didn't bookmark it. Because when I was led to Joshua for my for motivation, I let the page go. But here it go. Which one? That's Ecclesiastes 3:10 through 22. There is a time. No, I'm gonna read it from the beginning. I'm gonna read the whole chapter. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What does the worker gain from his toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on men. He has made everything beautiful in his time. He has also set eternity into the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from the beginning to the end. I know that there is nothing better for men than to be happy and do good while they live, that everyone may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all his toil. This is the gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing can be taken from it. God does it so that men will revere in him. Whatever it is already been and what will be has been before, and God will call the past to account. And I saw something under the sun. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there. I thought in my heart, God will bring to judgment both the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity and a time for every deed. I also thought that as for men, God tests them so that they may see that they are like the animals. Man's fate is like that of animals. The same fate awaits them both. As one dies, so does the other. All have the same breath. Man has no advantage over the animal. Everything is meaningless. All go to the same place. All come from dust, and to dust all return. Who knows if the spirit of man rises upward and if the spirit of the animal goes down into the earth? So I say that there is nothing better for a man than to enjoy his work, because there is his lot. For who can bring him to see what will happen after him? Now, The reason why I read that to you was because that was basically about the whole message of being the boss and paying the costs. Those that came to me to remind me specifically the purpose of making the channel, and to remind yourself of the purpose of why you begin doing whatever it is that you're busy creating. You know, like God said it was now or never to do it. And even if you were to fail, the fact that you even tried and done it, be happy that you've done it. Because if you spend time not doing what you were led to do by God, or not doing what is your birthright, you're not doing yourself a service. You're not doing yourself a service. So be merry, be joyful in the things that you have. Be content in every season that you in. You know, there was a time in a season I was previously in where I had to weep and I had to mourn. But now this is a time that I cannot weep and I cannot mourn. This is a time to do. This is a time of action. Like God has said, he created this work in you and it doesn't cease until it's complete. This great work that I know the Lord has created in me, it has not ceased. It is not complete. I have been being led to so many things from 11 years ago that matches with my now. So many positive, motivating things I have posted, whether on Facebook, that I have written down, matches my now. This is a season to reap all of those things that I've sown 11 years ago. So I'm not going to read Isaiah 27 because I'm kind of like a little over time, but I encourage you to read Isaiah 27 1-3 and 1 John 3:10. Like I said, there's a season for everything. And like Ecclesiastes 3:9 says, what do workers gain for their toil? What do you gain for your work? Do you gain peace? Do you gain money? Do you gain understanding? Do you gain love? Do you gain purpose? Ask yourself, what do you gain? So you, even if you not in a season that you want to be, like, hey, this is a season that I'm single. I didn't want to be a single mom, but I chose to be a single mom. Why? Because it brought me peace. I still have peace each and every day. I don't wake up happy every day, but I choose to be happy. I choose to keep my peace. Like, I could run back to my past if I want to. My past sitting there waiting like, hey, I'm still here. If you want to play. But I don't have time to play because I have things that I have to do for God. This channel ain't about me. Yes, it's about me sharing things with myself. But the whole point of me sharing myself, which I'm putting myself out there in front of millions of people. I don't know who may watch my videos, but I'm putting myself out there. And I was afraid to do so, but I have confidence to do so because this is going to help somebody. This is going to change somebody's life. So peace and blessings, beautiful souls. Until next time, let me help you, and together we can help one another.